How imprisoned are you with gaming terms? Hi, I'm Dr. Waters, and welcome to Game Design Wit. You've probably heard by now of terms such as first-person shooter, role-playing, survival horror, and so on. These terms serve to create a frame of reference in which one can compare various games. For example, via the point-and-click term, we can compare puzzles from Myst and Monkey Island. Via the survival horror term, we can compare Lone Survivor's atmosphere with System Shock. However, when using terms to construct a perspective, we need to take a step back and analyze the inherent limitation this has. The majority of existing gaming terminologies focus mostly on actions. This makes some amount of sense given that games are about doing exactly that. But what if a game isn't trying to follow an established domain? What terms do we use then? Like 20th century philosopher Wittgenstein said, "The limits of my language means the limits of my world." He's talking about epistemology, which is the study of knowledge in itself. What he was implying was that if the only word you have in your vocabulary is hammer, then the only thing you'll be able to see are nails. Not only that, but you will only be able to think inside that domain, regardless of what other experiences may be around you. A good case study for how this applies to games is Enslaved Odyssey to the West. Reviewers often compared it with other action-adventure games, such as Prince of Persia, God of War, Uncharted, Castlevania, Assassin's Creed, and Infamous. But Enslaved is more than just an action-adventure game. A big component of its experience is in its message pertaining to control and when, if and how, we have it. The game explores this via its characters, Monkey and Trip, its mechanics, as well as with its relationship with the player. Let's take a close look at how this was done. In the beginning of the game, Monkey is stuck inside a flying prison. The game teaches the player the basics of maneuvering the main character, as most games do. This starts the relationship of the player controlling Monkey. Afterwards, the ship crash lands in a desolated New York that's in ruins for centuries after a devastating war. When Monkey wakes up, he meets Trip, one of the other prisoners that survived the crash. While he was unconscious, Trip enslaved Monkey with a crown that puts him under her direct control. She tells him that he must help her traverse the wasteland so she can reunite with her family. If he refuses to follow her orders, the crown will kill him. Now the game is playing an interesting role reversal, in which Trip controls not only Monkey, but also the player, because what the player has to do is a direct consequence of Trip's command in the story. After a while, Monkey and Trip face hostile robots that are still active since the war. Monkey orders Trip an action so that they can both survive. But she hesitates.
You get back, okay?
No, I can't.
Do as I say.
After the player kills the enemies, Monkey scowls Trip, telling her that if she wishes to survive,
If we're gonna get through this, then when I ask you to do something, you need to do it immediately.
Okay. I understand.
So now the game does another role reversal and creates a duality of control between Monkey and Trip, as well as with the player and Trip. That's because after the sequence, the player has command over her via a menu. Later on, once reaching Trip's family encampment, the player finds out that the slavers took her family as slaves and killed the rest. In grief, Trip tells Monkey that she will not free him as originally promised, but now he must help her find and kill those who harmed her family. The game is creating another layer of control of Trip's emotions over her own behavior. It also constructs the irony of Trip enslaving an individual to fight back against the slavers. To reach the slavers' base, Monkey and Trip visit a friend of her dad called Pigsy. With Pigsy's help, they infiltrate an army facility and steal a giant pre-war robot. They intend to use that robot to destroy the slavers' base. After this, Trip removes Monkey's crown since she realizes she wants him to be free to make his own choices. However, after all they've been through together, Monkey tells Trip to
Turn it back on.
But
You heard what I just said. Turn it back on.
The game is then reversing the role of control yet again. If Monkey chooses to be a slave, then is he really one? Who is really under control here? The trio then reach the slavers' base and fight huge scorpion robots. Pigsy orders Trip and Monkey to escape while he self-destructs the giant robot they stole. This clears the path for Trip and Monkey to enter the slavers' base. Once inside, they find that a man called Pyramid placed all the captured slaves in a virtual reality. He is allowing all the slaves to relive his life before the war. It's a beautiful world in which they can engage in experiences that they otherwise couldn't.
They are citizens. They have jobs. They have marriages. They bring up their children. Their children go to schools. You have no schools. You have mechs.
Note that these are experiences that can only occur outside of the game's world, that is, in the player's world. Pyramid offers Monkey his mask so that he may experience this for himself, which mesmerizes him.
It's beautiful.
The game displays this with Monkey's face looking outward from the game screen. He's not just looking through the mask, but he is looking at the player and into the player's reality. He is literally looking outside the game. It may seem weird that all the slaves are happy to relive in a world with experiences that aren't even theirs. But couldn't you say that the player is facing the same dilemma when playing a game whose outcome they can't change? Note also that the same mask Monkey wears is what's shown to the player each time there's a load screen. The mask is the mechanism by which we leave a reality of control to enter a reality in which we have no control. Who is really enslaved in this game then? This analysis wouldn't be possible if we look at this game as just an action-adventure game. Perhaps a better terminology would be to call it as a post-modernist game, since it talks about the medium in itself. Via this frame, we're now able to compare Enslaved to games such as BioShock, Braid, and Metal Gear Solid 2, which wouldn't have been possible had we stuck with their genres alone. Before I go, let me leave you with one final question. At the end of the game, Trip kills Pyramid, the individual behind all the slaves. Consequently, this frees them from their virtual reality. But the game doesn't provide any judgment over this. The last thing we hear is Trip asking,
Did I do the right thing?
which the game leaves unanswered. Did Trip do the right thing? Did she even have a choice? You tell me. Thanks for watching, so prove that you have free will by clicking on the subscribe button. Drop a comment down below on what you'd like to see me analyze next, or click on Freddie Mercury to see another video of mine, because why not? See you next time.